Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday. It's August 17th. This will be our chart listing for the day. I got several emails today, people asking what's wrong with the market, where's the volume, and I can't remember when there was that few bars in the white section there. It's been a while. We've been spoiled over the last year or so with all the volatility that we've had and so forth. So it's not unusual in July and August to get days like this. We didn't really have many in July because the volatility was still pretty high, but the volatility is basically gone now. We're basically back to all-time highs again. So the market's kind of running out of steam, I would guess, at this price level. And the volume, and again, it's just vacation time. People, this is when traders take their vacation right before school starts back. They last opportunity with their kids, and this year is probably a little different too because of the virus, and so people just may need a break because they didn't really take a break all summer long because kids have been out of school for a long time already. So it's not a typical normal summer either. So I don't really know what to expect going forward. My guess is that it'll pick back up as the summer comes to an end and school kind of starts to start back, and as people try to get back to their normal day-to-day routine. But it's just been a little different lately, but this is not unusual. This is more normal, really. And so people that are concerned about it, just understand that this is really more normal price action than what we usually have had. So, and this is a range day, and it is a tight. I mean, basically, we spent the whole day in a 33.74 to 33.81. So it's not even a 10-point range. So, I mean, that's about as tight as it gets. And then we really spent from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we spent most of that time in a 1-point, 2-point range there. And you just can't trade that. Just stay out of that red circle right there. Other than this first trade, if you put that to the far right of the chart, you can still see the resistance there, and you make that high and you get a little double test, and it looks a little congestive, but this is really the first bar that has no body or a very tiny body. The rest of these, I mean, this is a very small bar, so you can't really judge that one. It's starting to look like congestion, and so I still mark that one, but past that one, there's no doubt that's congestion, and just stay out of that because you'll get chopped all to pieces. And several of you tried to get short there, and I even had people trying to get long right in here. And you can't go long into the high of a range day that's this slow. You just can't do it. So, but most of you seem to have got tripped up either on this correction here or in this congestion here, and you just didn't get a lot of opportunities. That's just the bottom line. There's maybe 5 trades here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting the 2 green aggressive ones. And just in case you're new, if it's red, it's a good short following our strategy. If it's blue, it's a good long following our strategy. And if it's green, that simply means it meets a criteria, but there's some reasons to be concerned about it. And so I would call it an aggressive trade. You probably would want to skip it unless you're a very good chart reader and you like taking aggressive trades that might fail on you. So other than that, that's really the basics. But early on, we were in this range, and it's clear right there that that's a range. We failed out the bottom, we failed out the top, but you can clearly see the lows and you can clearly see the highs there. And if you just measure that and move this up and look for a measured move, that takes us right there, and you can see that is exactly where we went and then sold off. So we got a measured move, and this is just a midline here in the end. I don't even know if you want to call that a midline. We just went up here went into a tighter range here and then went into an even tighter one. I mean, that's really, honestly, I can't remember the last time that from maybe 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock we were stuck in that tighter range for that long a time. I mean, that's 3 hours, but not to go past a point in 3 hours. I mean, there's just nothing happening there. I mean, I really, I can't remember it being that slow. So, but I'm sure a lot of it has to do with all the craziness going on and the fact that we're at all-time highs and people are probably on vacation and people just are probably, nobody wants to sell this market, but people are probably leery of buying into these all-time highs up here. It's just, it's not a smart move. And so are we going to make 4,000? I mean, it's just right above us here. So maybe we'll make, or I'm sorry, not 4,000, but 3,900 or 3,400 is what I mean. So I've said that before, and people write to me and say, "What are you talking about?" But it should be 3,400. So it's not far above. We're at 38.82 now, so 18 points, and I mean that's easily the way the volatility's been. That would be a small day, but right now that seems monumental after a day like today. But anyway, I've wasted 6 minutes here, and really just because there's not a whole lot of trades to talk about. But somebody did want me to show how you set up. Notice, they've seen me use the new channel here, and it automatically puts the 50% line in there, and people can't seem to figure out how to do that. So put your channel, it's this one right here. You put your channel on here. Let's just find one we can put on here. And then once you get it on here, double click on it and your parameters come up, or your properties is what they call them. I still call them parameters, but they're properties, I guess. And you'll see the parallel right here. And then you'll see the levels, and there's one price level, which is that midpoint. And just click on that and change that to 50%, and then make your line whatever color you want. And then just hit OK. And you probably, before you can go ahead and apply it, but then hit your template and click on save, and save that as default so that it doesn't go away again. Because if you don't, you just change it on this. You got to save that as your default. So I hope that's helpful for anybody that wants to know how to do that. But there it was. I can't remember who showed me how to do it, but I couldn't figure it out either. So there's a video that'll show you how to do anything. That's one thing that NinjaTrader is great at. They have a great video library that shows you how to use their software. There's links on my website. Go to the frequently asked questions page. I don't know why that's so hard for me to get out, but go to that page and you'll see a link in those frequently asked questions as where to go to find the video links for NinjaTrader, or you can just Google it. But for some reason, sometimes it's hard to find Googling it. But anyway, it's there, and their training videos are very straightforward, very simple, easy to follow. So if you want to learn how to do anything with the NinjaTrader software, it's all there, and you can just go find that particular video and watch it in a few minutes. You're probably up and running. So there's that. The other thing is there was one other thing. Let me pause this while I think about it. Oh, I know what the other thing is. I just wanted to clarify for people. People get confused. They see me using NinjaTrader software, so they automatically assume that I trade with NinjaTrader's brokers and that our discounts are with NinjaTrader. They're not. I don't trade with NinjaTrader. I use their software, but anybody that started trading with them before 2015 can use any broker they want. You new guys that are just starting, you don't have that option. NinjaTrader forces you to use their broker, and we don't get any discounts with their broker. I've been trying to work with them to see if we can get something, and so far I haven't had much luck, but I'm trying again. And maybe I can work it out where we can get some discounts, but I just don't know yet. But don't go to NinjaTrader asking for our group discounts, because we don't get one with them. So if you're a member of our group, which includes if you've bought one of our manuals or you joined our membership, premium membership, then you qualify for our group discounts. And if you come to me and you meet that criteria, I'll give you the information. Just ask for it. I don't post it on the site publicly. You have to ask me for it. So anyway, but we do not get a discount with NinjaTrader right now. Their rates are competitive, and I love their software. So, for some of you, it's worth using, even if we don't get a discount. I mean, their rates are probably better than a lot of others, but it's not as good as our group discounts. But if you want to use NinjaTrader and you started after 2015, doesn't matter. You don't have any option. If you want to use NinjaTrader, you're going with their broker. That's their rule. They changed it. Don't ask me why. Um, if it were up to me and I made the rules for them, they'd still let you use it with anybody. But when you buy, you know that now, so you don't have any option. Let's talk about the trades because we're already 10 minutes into this, and I was hoping for a short video because I'm way behind. And I went to my lake house this weekend. I couldn't read email. I have no email service there, and I need that break occasionally, so I apologize if you were looking for something or had a question over the weekend. But sometime, I usually answer all emails in less than 24 hours, usually in less than 12 hours. It's very rare you got to go more than 24 hours without getting an answer from me. And this weekend just happened to be one of them. And some of you had some issues, and of course people freak out. I'm not ignoring you, and I'm not scamming you. I just didn't read my email, so I apologize. But I'm pretty much running this whole show now by myself. So you just have to, sometimes you'll just have to wait a day or so. But I'll always try to answer you as quick as I can. And any of you that know me know I always answer all emails, and I usually answer them in less than 12 hours, much less than 24. So just bear with me when I take a weekend off because I have to have a break from this thing sometimes. I don't do that very often. And then, of course, I had the dentist appointment this morning, so it was kind of a double whammy. So I really didn't get to start reading Saturday and Sunday email, much less today's email, until after lunch today. So I'm just a little behind. I'm just about caught up. Hopefully I'm going to catch up before the day's over, and I'll be back on track tomorrow. So thank y'all, those of you that held your questions and so forth from this morning. I appreciate it because it did help me to almost get caught up, and I will get caught up before the day's over. All right, let's talk about the trade so I can wrap this up. Early on, we had a little bit of we're going sideways here, but you can see I drew this trend line, and you can see we made a low. We tried to go lower once. We tried to go lower twice. There's a failed second entry short, and we're crawling up that trend line. Even with the range, you got enough room to get out. So, and you can see you still got resistance there, even though it pushed on through. So it was a little, if you weren't out by the time you got to here, it was a little heart-wrenching watching it bounce off that line a few times because it felt, but you could see it was stuck between the resistance, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in the trend line, and one of them's going to win out. And so, just put your stop where it goes. And if you did, this turned out to be the trade of the day. And notice you get a little bit of a close outside. It's hard to say. I think this is a little steeper than what I had it. I think it's more like that, and I believe we get a close outside right here and a couple of legs up, and then it sells off. Some of you I know at least one or two of you got tripped up trying to go long here. The fact that we pushed back through the EMA, making those two little pushes up and not going any further, and then pushing right through the EMA, you don't really get, it's not really a great setup here on the ES. But I think a couple of you in the MES took this second entry. There was a second entry long set up on the MES, and but still you could clearly see the channel working down, and there's no break of it, no new low or any of that. You don't really get a close outside the new low here, and then even then it's not real clear if you really got a close outside here. It just reverses. So, and I don't see any setup there that I would take. Somebody went long right here using this as a signal bar, but maybe they had matching lows on theirs. They had a line on the chart and I couldn't see. But if their chart looks just like mine, this is your signal bar, and that's too bearish. That's just a first entry and a big bearish signal bar. Possibly the highs of the day right there. You don't want to go long right there. Pushes up, makes a new high. So either way, even if I had this right the first time, and this is right, you really don't get a close here, and that's not real convincing. So maybe this is the first close outside and you still get two legs up, and that's it for the day. So it didn't really matter how you had it. you really come to the same conclusion. Let's just say that's right. The only problem is usually it's off those first closes there. So, and a lot of times it's the actual low close there on this side. So to me, that looks like the break in new high. Notice we didn't get back to even the midline. So it kind of warns you that's coming. Then we sold off here, and there's actually two legs down right there. And there's two legs in each one. There's your first leg, and there's your second leg, and there's two legs in this one, and then two legs in this one. And then there's two legs up right there. And then another two legs down, and then I don't know how you want to, from there on, you can just kind of call it whatever you want, really. But we ran up, we made the new high, we move up. There's no way to go, no reason to go long. There's your measured move. You can see that resistance, and it holds there, and you don't want to go long right into that. So there's no reason to go long. There's no setup on this chart anyway. But when you get that failed second entry long that turns down right off that resistance point, yeah, there's a short there. And I showed you that a minute ago. We're not really quite that congestive yet right there. Actually, it was this one I showed that on. But we move down. It looks like there's a little bit of a trap right there, but you don't want to go short right into that either. And it does bounce. And so there's a second entry long right there. Now this does look, you got three bars stacked up. One of them has no body. This one has that one's close. So this is a little congestive, but it's a second entry. There is support there. So you might take that one. You're better off to wait on the higher low, which comes right here. You get a small bar, just go long. That's a quick, easy move. And then this was the one we talked about. And you can see it's starting to look congestive, but you might still, there's a little room back to the EMA right there, and look how many times we've turned down right there. I kind of like, and it is a second entry short. Technically, it's not, because this is a higher low, so it's really a first entry, second entry, a third entry, but it looks like two legs up regardless with another attempt to go higher. So you may go short right there, but past that, don't enter in this stuff. And that takes you into 2 o'clock. I mean, really, there's where 2 o'clock starts. So from basically right around 11 o'clock, let's just see what time that bar starts. That bar starts at, actually that's 11:51, okay. So that's not quite, that's only 2 hours there. It's not as bad as I was thinking it was. So the last 2 hours of the day we spent in that. And you just don't enter in that. Don't even try, because you're just going to get chopped up. And that was probably the last trade you could take in that. And even that one, I'd mark it green. But from there on, you can't enter in that. And you finally get a little failed breakout down here, but that's well after 2 o'clock. That's a doji, and again, you got congestion. Although you kind of understand why this forms here, because you're way away from the EMA and you had a failed breakout, and so you're just kind of running out of steam there as the sellers are drying up, and you're going to reverse probably. Here, you're just kind of stuck between support and resistance, and there's no buying or selling, so it's just equilibrium, and you don't know what it's going to do right there. So stay out of that. But anyway, that's what I saw today, and there's just not much here. So if you're wondering what's going on, it's just the summer months, and this is pretty typical. And how long it'll last, usually by this time of the, usually as we go into the fall is some of the best trading months. So it could pick back up here pretty quickly. But this year's different. I mean, we're making all-time highs. It's an election year. So the fact that it's an election year probably lends towards we're probably going to keep climbing through November, because the president's going to want to stay in office. So he wants to keep the economy rolling. So he's going to try to keep things rolling along. So I don't expect another big sell-off before the election unless some kind of crazy something happens with the virus or some other kind of news. But at the same time, we're at all-time highs, and people are probably nervous about buying up here. So The time you buy is when nobody else wanted to buy at the very lows. And you sell to, and now's when, you start dumping it as we go into the all-time highs again when you bought way down at the lows. So it works the same way on the big picture as what we're trying to do on the small picture here, which is buy low and sell high. That's the key to all of it. You have to be a contrarian almost. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little better trading day. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.